going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate
Bernie,
tax.
you were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but.
All right, so if you go to the other clip, it says beginning to 107. See if that's it, because I don't know why I got those two mixed up.
That is that.
It's the same one?
Yeah, that's that one. But I don't know why you put here 229, 231.
Because I think that's a different clip, and I don't know now where the heck it is.
Move on.
Man, it was so good, guys. It was so good. It was literally him saying, like, oh, will you say that you're going to make universal health care a human right? And then RFK said, are you saying that universal health care is like freedom of speech? It's not, because freedom of speech is not costly, and universal health care is. And then he said, if I were to smoke for 16 years and then get cancer, if you put universal health care, then you're putting a strain on the poor. And then immediately Bernie Sanders was like, all right. And then he changed the subject. It's like, that's literally what you're doing. You are taxing the poor. You say that you're fighting for the poor, but universal health care is taxing the poor, because those are the ones that you claim need it, but they have to pay for it. And poor people cannot afford it. So it's just it's mind fucking. All right, so let's go to the next one. Warren, hopefully that one's correct. Hopefully that one's correct, because while you're doing that, I'm gonna search up these charts I have here. These amazing charts. I'm becoming like Donald Trump. I love charts. They're the greatest. They're amazing. Yeah.
When you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member.
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this question.
I don't think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
Let's keep going. You're right, because to say yes, because every American has the right to know that every decision you make as our number one health officer is to help them and not to make money for yourself in the future. So I want to talk more about money. I'm looking at your paperwork right now. In the past 2 years, you've raked in $2.5 million from a law firm called Wisner Baum. You go online, you do commercials to encourage people to sign up with Wisner Baum to join lawsuits against vaccine makers. And for everyone who signs up, you personally get paid. And if they win their case, you get 10% of what they win. So if you bring in somebody who gets $10 million, you walk away with $1 million. Now, you just said that you want the American people to know you can't be bought. Your decisions won't depend on how much money you could make in the future. You won't go to work for a drug company after you leave HHS. But you and I both know there's another way to make money. So, Mr. Kennedy, will you also agree that you won't take any compensation from any lawsuits against drug companies while you are secretary and for 4 years afterwards?
Well, I'll certainly commit that while I'm secretary. But I do want to clarify something because you're making me sound like a shill. I put
You're the
together
one
that
who got-
case. I did the Science Day presentation to the judge on that case to get it into court, the Daubert hearing.
Mr. Kennedy, it's just a really simple question.
Yeah,
You've taken in $2.5 million. I want to know if you will commit right now that not only will you not go to work for drug companies, you won't go to work suing the drug companies and taking your rake out of that while you're a secretary and for 4 years after. It's just...
I'll commit to not taking any fees from drug companies while I'm secretary.
No. I'm asking about fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not to do that?
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm
you
not
can
going to agree
sue
to that.
drug
Senator.
companies as much as you want.
I'm not going to agree to not sue drug companies or anybody.
So let's do a quick count here of how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence every one of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list.
They're very
You
scared.
can publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint people
I don't
to the
understand that.
CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule. You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs, which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation even if there is no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could turn over FDA data to your friends at the law firm, and they could use it however it benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program. There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS, and I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
Man. All right, so the reason why I'm showing this to you is because the people who claim they're for the poor, for the middle class, are literally making money off of pharmaceutical companies, but they're saying they're not making money off of the actual company itself. They're making money off of the individual employees of the pharmaceutical company. For example, throughout Bernie Sanders' tenure since 2007, has maintained this small dollar contribution. This is how they literally get big corporations to give them money without, them having to say, oh, I'm being controlled by big corporations. You are, just indirectly, because they're giving you small dollar donations through individual employees of these corporations. So, according to data from Open Secrets, between 1990 and 2024, Sanders received approximately, we don't really know, approximately $1.95 million from individuals associated with the pharmaceutical and health product industry. Elizabeth Warren has received contributions from individuals associated with pharmaceutical and health product industry. Notably, during the 2019 to 2020 election cycle, Warren's campaign received approximately $822,573 from this sector alone. And there's a graph. So take a look at the graph really quick. The pharmaceutical graph, that's it. All right, so if you look, Hillary Clinton is all the way at the top. She is the biggest known person that's been donated from pharmaceutical companies. We're talking over $4 million. Mitt Romney, over $3 million. Orrin Hatch, over $2 million. Bob Casey, over $2 million. Mitch McConnell, over $2 million. Bernie Sanders, over $1 million, almost $2 million. He's at 1,953,613. So he's there. We got Ralph Warnick, Richard Burr, Patty Murray, Charles E. Schumer, Robert Menendez, John McCain, Marsha Blackburn, John Kerry, Arlen Specter, Bill Cassidy, Elizabeth Warren, Ron Wind, Roy Blunt, and John Cornyn. So we have Democrats, Republicans, and Independents all getting over $1 million of donations from pharmaceutical industries. And they're claiming because it's not the big corporations, it is small dollar individuals, that it doesn't look bad. It still looks bad because you're making money off of big pharma indirectly, because you're saying it's not directly the company, it's their employees. And then at the same time, you're advocating for universal health insurance, which means you're going to make more money, which is the argument I was giving to my liberal friend Albeniz. If you create universal health care, all you're doing is getting big pharma to be richer, and for these corrupted politicians to make more money off of big pharma. That's all you're doing, essentially. And then you're saying that it's for the benefit of the people, but the people that are supposed to benefit from it can't afford it. So who are you really benefiting? Obviously the companies, big pharma companies, and the people that are getting donated from big pharma. So I think these people are full of it. It's such a facade to say, oh, I care about the little people, when the reality is you don't. You just want to make more money because you've been making money off of this industry for such a long time that that the biggest way to make money is to make this a universal thing. The way it's a recurring income no matter what. And this needs to stop. And one of the biggest ways to do it is to stop pharmaceutical companies from advertising on media. The reason why these liberal media outlets like CNN, MSNBC, NBC, all these big known media outlets, they get funding by pharmaceutical companies. That's why you're always going to see advertisements when you watch liberal media on purpose. Because if you cut liberal media, then their funding goes down. I mean, their numbers are already going down. Nobody's viewing liberal media. So if you were to cut their biggest funder, they're ultimately screwed.